Welcome back to Thinking Cap. I'm Benji, and in today's video I'll be sharing my very own bench boost plans for game week 32, which is a double game week. I've got a few issues to address in my team, so I'll be breaking all of those down for you guys. Let's get into it. Before we dive into my bench boost plans, let's aim for 50 likes on this video, and if you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be walking you through my bench boost plans for game week 32, but first, let's talk about my chip strategy for the run-in real quick. I wildcarded last game week, and that decision has pretty much locked me into bench boost 32 this week. Looking ahead, I'm planning to use my free hit chip in game week 33, which happens to be the biggest double game week of the season. My triple captain is penciled in for game week 36, which could potentially be another big double. If you want to see how my wildcard team works and how it handles the blank in 34, make sure to check out my game week 31 wildcard video after this one. Let's get into it. Let's start with my defense on bench boost. In goal, I've got Nick Pope facing Man United and Palace at home. Two fixtures which could bring a few solid returns in front of him. I've got my double Forest defense at home against Everton. Forest haven't conceded at the City Ground in the Premier League since game week 22, so I'm hoping that trend does continue this weekend. Of course, I've also got Daniel Munoz, who's one of the most attacking defenders in the game right now. He scored a stunning goal against Brighton last weekend, and I'm really happy to own him. Now onto the bench, and here's where things get a little bit tricky. You might be thinking, Benji, what the heck is this wild card? Get it, Van Heck? What? Okay, anyways, guys. Yeah, unfortunately, he did get that red card, and I did start him last week. He got me a -2, and in the 1 week where I need all 15 players for my bench boost, I'm already down to 14 and potentially even 13 because Anthony Elanga picked up a muscle injury and was subbed off at halftime against Aston Villa. Look, there is still a chance he'll be back for Everton, and if Nuno does declare him fit in the Thursday-Friday press conferences, I'll definitely hold on to Anthony just because I think he's a really great asset. Elsewhere on my bench is Ryan Aït-Nouri against Tottenham. Spurs, they have a Europa League knockout game, first leg and second leg, right around Wolves in both of the midweeks before and after, so rotation could really work in my favor here. And finally, it's Dean Hendo, former United player. Let's go GGMU as my backup goalie. You can kind of see now how I'm a little bit forced into using the bench boost this week because one of my Palace doublers is my goalkeeper, and with both goalkeepers in play, activating the chip just really makes sense despite the injuries and suspensions complicating the situation. Moving into the midfield, I've got Salah, Cole Palmer, and Brian Mbeumo faces a hopefully big rotated Arsenal this weekend. Jacob Murphy smashed 13 points last week on my Bruno Guimaraes differential. I'll need Bruno G to claw a few points back in the double and in the coming weeks, but I'm still confident in his potential. Hopefully, Murph God has expended all of his GA ahead of the double. And finally, up front, I've got Alexander Isak as captain alongside Jean-Philippe Mateta. Both are doubling this game week, and another spicy differential I've opted for is Matheus Cunha against Tottenham. Had him on my wildcard, benched him last week. Look, there are a few rumors circulating that Matheus Cunha might not even start again for Wolves under Vitor Pereira. Look, I think that's just a bit of fan speculation, a bit of bullshit, but at this point, it's definitely a possibility. It's not something I can rule out for sure, and if he doesn't start, I might be screwed. So I need to have a Cunha exit strategy ready to go. Hopefully it's not needed because that would really mess up my future plans. It would mean I'm taking a pretty fat hit this week. But yeah, this is the bench boost team just off the wild card. Definitely needs a little bit of work this week. But look, I think my wild card, it wasn't the best. I do regret a few picks on it, but I do think it's only been 1 game week. Things can definitely turn around, and let's move into my transfer pathways to hopefully sort out this bench boost. All right, so we're looking at pathway 1, which would assume that Elanga and Cunha are given the green light to be fit for game week 32, and that would mean I'd use my only free transfer on that bum, Jean-Paul Van Heck from Brighton. If you guys think that I'm going to be going back to another Brighton defender after they've absolutely stiffed me, you guys are out of your mind, guys. Seriously, I'm not touching another Brighton defender. I don't care that they have Leicester. I don't care that Estupiñán is rated high on FPL Review. Absolutely not. I won't be touching another Brighton defender. just because I've gotten burnt. And looking at that defense, do I really want to invest there? And here you can see my potential pathways, my potential transfers in game week 32. And I am thinking of going for Virgil van Dijk just because I really, really like that West Ham fixture. I think it's pretty solid for him. And then I've also been considering Josko Gvardiol, even though I don't think that Crystal Palace game is going to be a clean sheet. That's why the likelihood of that transfer is a little bit lower at 50%. And then I'm also considering Andy Robertson, who has excellent return trends at the end of the season. But I really like that Virgil van Dijk transfer. Number one, I feel like I'm owning basically the whole Liverpool defense. Without Trent, he should pick up a few more bonus points as well, because his main baseline threat for clean sheet points, for bonus points in the clean sheets, is gone in Trent. And West Ham, Leicester, and Tottenham are three good fixtures, great fixtures to access. He scored against Tottenham earlier this season in the Carabao Cup. West Ham, he has a decent historical record against them. And ultimately, I think I'm more comfortable going for him rather than Gvardiol, who is already a template pick. Whereas if I went for one of the Liverpool defenders, they're a little bit less owned. I feel like the clean sheet odds are a little bit higher. The potential of a big return is a little bit higher than a Gvardiol playing an informed Crystal Palace. I understand Palace have a few injuries, but they're still one of the best, if not the best, away team in the league this season. So this is how the team would look like. No hits, 1.2 million remaining in the bank, 97 expected points on FPL.team, and 6 doublers. I think the team looks really nice in this pathway if, obviously, Elanga and Cunha get the green light. Let's see what would happen if one of them does. So pathway 2 would assume that Anthony Elanga and Van HECKE would need to be sold, and my potential transfers in this pathway would be basically to go for Justin Kluivert if he's fit, and still go for Virgil van Dijk. I mean, he is my favorite transfer. Obviously, could be Gvardiol in that spot, but basically the two options I am considering in this pathway is to go for Justin Kluivert. The reason I prefer him just a little bit more over Mitoma is, number one, Bournemouth can potentially double in game week 36, have Leicester in game week 38. They are a very good attack, and Kluivert's on corners and penalties. He is realistically, if he's declared fit, my favorite replacement for Anthony Elanga. Hopefully Elanga will be fit, but in this scenario, Kluivert will come into the team. He would be on the bench for that Fulham at home fixture, and even though Fulham at home is not the best game, if you could ask for any in the world, maybe Mitoma's got a better fixture. Longer term or medium term, I still would prefer Justin Kluivert in my team, just because of the potential of what he can add in later game weeks. And in game week 34, he has United at home, and I still think Bournemouth have a few good fixtures. Kluivert is basically becoming their talisman, and for me, he is probably my preferred transfer for Anthony Elanga if fit. The rest of the team looks pretty similar to the other one, apart from the fact that I am taking a -4 in the structure. I only have one free transfer, guys, so realistically, I'm really hoping for my guys to come fit. Let's see what would happen if all three needed to be sold. Okay, so the third and final pathway would be if the worst outcome comes to fruition, which would see Van HECKE, Elanga, and Matheus Cunha need to be sold this game week. This would be a massive -8. I mean, guys, I've taken 2 hits all season, so ultimately, do I really want to make this hit? Absolutely not. I do not want to be making this hit if possible, and that's why the likelihood of these transfers is down in the sub 10%, 5% area. But ultimately, if I had to make this transfer, I do feel as though I am a little bit forced into playing the bench boost just because I have a Crystal Palace asset on the bench and he cannot come on because I also have Nick Pope. But ultimately, if something like this did happen, I would probably reconsider my chip structure, my chip strategy, and I would probably lean towards maybe an Isak triple captain this week, just because a -8 to field 15 feels a little bit disgusting, a little bit too rogue for me. And ultimately, these transfers just not very high upside. I feel though I'm selling really good assets. Cunha, Elanga, good assets. What happens if they miss just 1 week? They're back 434. And ultimately, I don't think it's worth the -8 for me to sacrifice this much. But hopefully both can come through fit. But I mean, look at the expected points though with this -8. According to FPL.team, and big shout out to FPL.team, it's one of the best tools for FPL planning. I've left a link in the video description so you guys can check it out and use it as well. And if you want to know how my final bench boost team comes out, make sure you're subscribed because I do my team selection as a YouTube shorts every week. So make sure you're subscribed to access that one. But anyways, yeah, like if I have to do these transfers, I think I will be in a really bad position because ultimately I'm taking a -8 after I've just wildcarded, especially just to have 15 players. I mean, I think I would probably have to bite the bullet on Henderson. I might change my chip strategy, and I think that does make sense in this situation. If you have enjoyed this one, make sure to hit that like button. What do you guys think of my bench boost plans? Am I mudded? Am I washed? Did I pick an absolute shocker wildcard? Let me know in the comment section. I'll speak to you soon.